if the cruise line owns the tender. Well, if an accident happens on that, that's the cruise line's own equipment, and presumably being navigated by one of the cruise line's crew members. So the cruise line is directly responsible for that. In terms of excursions, you go to these ports of call and the cruise line will offer you and advertise excursions, which are in actuality being operated by local tour operators. And then it gets, it gets murky at that point. What did the cruise line actually have to do with planning and/or operating the cruise versus what did the tour operator do? There are limitations in the ticket that talk about shore excursion being run by independent operators. To try and for the cruise lines to try and insulate itself from being sued by its passengers who get injured on one of these excursions. So then you have to take a look at, there are a number of components. Okay, it was an independent operator, let's say running a zip line, because we see these types of accidents all the time. Well, what if they're an independent operator, but what if they've had 10 accidents in the past 10 months that the cruise line knows about? Well, that might be a reason either not to use them anymore or to warn passengers that this guy's had a number of accidents. And probably what will happen at some point, is that the cruise line just won't use them anymore. But they can be liable if they know or should have known that this particular tour operator has had a number of accidents in the past. That's the best way to get to the cruise line for that accident. Some cases can turn on what we call prior notice. That's the legal term. And what prior notice has there been about this particular operator? The law actually is that the cruise line has a duty, even when that does not end at the dock. When the cruise line knows about dangerous places or expects that the passengers may be going to a place that the cruise line know may be dangerous. So we at least have a duty to warn.
It's a little more complicated when they get injured on an excursion off the ship, because typically the excursion operators are not the cruise line employees. They are independent contractors that the cruise line contracts with on an island or wherever it is that the ship is in port. There are ways to do it. It's not easy. It's very difficult to get jurisdiction often over the excursion operator because they're not United States companies, so it's very difficult to sue them. The cruise line denies any responsibility for any negligence on the part of the excursion operator. So it's not easy, but we've handled quite a few excursion cases over the years. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. It just depends on the circumstances, it depends on the facts.